Yogurt time. So I'm just working on a new camera setup or a phone setup for taking photos because just whenever I take photos, it just always looks a bit off, whether their minifigure's just too forward, too far back, or something like that. So now what I have is this stand here, and then with that I have a Lego brick holding it at the front, so it's even with the front of the case, and then a bit of tape just as a counterbalance, just so that it doesn't fall off the front when I put my phone in. And then I put my phone into this slot here, but even then it's still not perfectly straight. So then I also slide this in here so then it holds it perfectly for the correct width. And then after that, I line it up with the back of this bar here so that it's straight with that. And then at the front of the case, I line up this plate so that the minifigure, the phone, and everything is perfectly straight. So then when I take a photo of the minifigure, then I don't have any weird angles or anything like that. So I've got to just adjust this a little bit still and stuff like that. But I'm going to try and just get the perfect setup because whenever I look back at my photos that I've taken, they just look off. They're like slightly, the proportions are off. Like the torso seems a little bit too large and the legs a little bit too small, and it seems like it's almost facing forward a bit and stuff like that. So I just want to try and create a setup or something like that so that it can just be actual photos that don't look weird in post. So with this new setup now, the legs here, as you can see, I mean, I didn't have the photo lined up or anything like that. That's why it's still a little bit like off-centered and there's weird fading here and stuff like that. But now it's basically perfectly straight for the photo, which helps lots because now all I need to do is just make sure I can get it tall enough so that you don't see the base of the torso here, because on other images and stuff like that, that was the previous one, I didn't have it showing. And then when looking at just where did I have it, 1 second, on other photos and stuff like that, you just don't see the base of the torso. And so then I'm going to work on that because this here is just a really good way to have it. Is I think this is an Axidae, no, it's a hydro, I can never pronounce it, photo. But then as you can see, it's just really well done and stuff like that. So I finally figured out how to get the other side of the head properly positioned there and stuff like that. But then now the goal is to try and get photos to be able to take them like this. And now I've gotten the bottom perfectly lined up with that contraption there. So now I'm going to focus on trying to get it at the right angle so that I can have it so that instead of taking a photo like this, 1 second, let me get it up. Instead of taking a photo like this, where it's kind of like the camera's a little bit like this, well, it's not necessarily even just like that. It's perfectly straight in that sense, but it's just too high up right now. So then now I'm going to focus on trying to get it onto the correct height. So when I take a photo, it just takes a photo of the minifigure from the front going perfectly at it instead of just being too high up for it right now. So I'm going to work on that step next and then see if I can finally figure out the secret to taking good photos. And this is just not staying focused for some reason. So using the new setup, I got the antimatter minifigure from the eBay thing over there that was just listed. And so then I was taking the new photo, and then I was also making sure I did the other thing, which was lining up the center here, because in between the feet, you can see it, like for example, if I take the photo here, it would crop weirdly. Same with on this side and stuff like that. So you need to get it centered so it's even in the center so that the background removal tool can actually take effect. So I did that on it, and then when I ran it through the background removal, it first left the base in the photo again, but then I ran the edited photo through the background removal for a second time, and then it removed the base and just had the minifigure. So that is nice. And so this is the old photo here, where you can, it's 8 years old at this point. It's a little blurry and stuff like that. It was great for its time, but I just am able to work on it, so I was able to do that now. So that was the old one, and this here is the new photo. I'm very happy with it, and it finally feels like for the first time that the photos actually look really well done. Like before, I was happy with them. They were slight improvements and stuff like that, but this one here is where it actually feels almost like a stock photo. I mean, it's not quite stock photo level, like there's slight imperfections, but every brick is slightly imperfect and stuff like that, even though this one was bought brand new and stuff like that. So it's not perfect or anything like that. And then I'm just checking this part right here. Yeah, that spec there is part of the part itself. It's not some spec on it, and stuff like that. So yeah, then hopefully when I add photos now, they'll actually start to really look nice rather than just kind of like my old ones did, where it was just kind of like it's the first attempt at a photo I've done. So I'm now trying to see if I can modify this to also work for standard photos and stuff like that. So now I have the stand adjusted a bit on the plate here, and then I have it set up. It's just blurry now because it doesn't want to focus, so that I can set it in here and then just get really nice close-up photos. Because although the this phone just does not like to stay focused or anything like that, the one good thing about the new phone is that it is really good at very close-up photos. So then since these photos are shrunk later, it's usually the best option to take larger photos and then shrink them rather than taking smaller photos and then slightly enlarge them. So then I will try to take 2 photos like this, and then in post I can just make them smaller because they go side by side, so it goes even smaller than that again, and it usually works pretty well. And then also I found out that these things here you can actually adjust. So now I have it on an angle, which puts it nicely so that I can get light here, because before it used to basically just be it was just straight ahead, and then the light would have to be down here, and then it would always leave a huge bar and stuff like that. So that's a nice adjustment that was made. So I'm just trying to see how this all works out. So the background removal tool just does not like it when I use this background. I tried it with white tiles on the front to match the background, and it didn't like that either. It just leaves in parts of this and stuff like that, and it just does not work too well. I did find one partial workaround where if I run it through Photoshop first to get rid of most of it, then I run it through something called Photo Room, and then it won't let you download it at its original size without a watermark, but you can just simply open up the snipping tool and stuff like that. But then that's just too much hassle, and it's probably degrades the image quality significantly and stuff like that. So I'm not going to be able to use this setup for photos of individual parts. It works well for minifigures, just not individual parts. So I will have to figure out another solution for individual parts, but it does still work amazing for minifigures themselves. So I will be able to hopefully figure out another method for just individual parts. I know that it used to work well on that part over there that I now use as a stand, but the issue with that is it's just not even or anything like that. So I'll have to try and find some solution that works for individual parts, but yeah, then at least I figured out for the minifigures. Possible solution is that I actually just first crop the image a little bit so that the base itself isn't too visible, and then it seemed to work well the first time, so that may be a solution. Always good fun when you get a service error on Bricklink. I was just trying to click on the home page and it wasn't working, and then also was trying to view someone's store, and it just kept saying error timeout as if the link wasn't valid and stuff like that. And now just, oh, well, this one works. The home page doesn't work on Bricklink, but other pages do work. So if I click the home page, yep, doesn't work. Store pages don't work. So it only seems like a few select ones work. So as long as you avoid, oh, it's back up now. What if I go to the store again? Nope, still bad gateway. So yeah, it's just interesting, but oh, nope, service error again. So it just seems like Bricklink's having a good time now trying to just figure out what to do for, I don't know, existing or something. So then, yeah, it's just Bricklink being Bricklink, I guess. But on a side note, my dad was creating a couple of these labels, and so I almost threw this in the recycle, but then I still remembered that all of these cards or minifigures are in there, so those will have to get emptied out. But then these here are all labels and stuff like that, and there's cards, and then just like was done with the other box, this stuff here, these labels will probably be removed or moved around or something like that. Well, I mean, they can't really be moved around, but just like as in I have Star Wars on either side, I'll probably just put them beside each other and then move that one to over here and then name it something else or something like that. And so yeah, just in the process of having all of the labels made, so I'm going to create a few more now. But then just creating as many as can be done that are needed, and then we've got all the cards, and then can apply them and get all of that sorted, and then get these guys finally put away. But yeah, it's just wonder if Bricklink's going to be working anytime soon or not. So I just was working on a little bit of testing since I can't really do anything else because Bricklink is still down. It's been probably half an hour at this point. And so then I put the part on there, and then whenever I was having the issue with the background removal tool, I just cropped it first and then I put it in and it works fine. And so then I added 2 bricks from the bottom to get it to the correct height. This was my first attempt before I added the bricks to the bottom. Is, as you can see, the photo is taken farther away, and so it's zoomed in a bit more, so it's blurrier, and you can see the top of the head, and overall it's just poorer quality. But then I made some adjustments, and then I got this one here, which is a decent improvement from the other one. So I do think that that is good to have 2 bricks on the bottom, and then I don't really have to move the stand at all. It's still 3x3 from the end. It seems to work perfectly for that. So yeah, let's just check Bricklink once more now because it's still just down. Refresh. Oh, Bricklink's back up. Is there anything in the forum about it? Or is it still going to be broken? I literally had just checked like 30 seconds ago. But it's, nope, never mind. It's an internal server error. Well, at least the homepage is back up. I can't see what was posted in the forum though, but it's slowly getting there, hopefully. But let's see. Well, is it only the homepage that's working? Well, let's just look up yellow head. Oh, whoops. Actually, let's just type in yellow head first, see if the search is even working. It is working. Okay, so yellow head, negative dual, negative female, beard, or is that a mustache? Beard I'll go with, because it's under the mouth, not over it. Beard, I think I spelled that right, and I think it's dark red, so we'll try that and see if we can get any results. Yep, here's the part, and actually it's on my wanted list, so I guess I need it. So yeah, it's this part does need a photo, but I couldn't check and I was just testing it out. So then I guess I can work on a different part now that the search is working, and then I can just maybe prepare a part while waiting and stuff like that. But yeah, their photo is still better. Mine's just, well, it's a slightly, well, I mean, when you zoom in this much, you can see every print defect and everything like that on it. But yeah, then there's that, and then I can work on that, and then basically with dual-sided heads, this image gets shrunk down even more because then I can just go into here, and then I can select, oops, I guess I never downloaded the image yet, so file, save, PNG, and then we can open the image here, and then if there's a dual head or something like that, I could just put it into here, and then download, and then reopen it up here, and then just resize to its 600 by 800 for individual parts, or is it 800 by 600? I can't remember, but yeah, then it shrinks it even more, and then as the image gets shrunk, it is a little bit better quality again, so that's good there. But yeah, then I might as well see if I can just add one of these photos until Bricklink's back on its feet again. So I ended up just doing the one for Steve. That was the old one, small and blurry there. So I just got this one here. I had to rotate it a little bit because I think I might have taken it just slightly off center or something like that. I don't quite know what caused that, but I rotated it by 0.5 degrees to get it straight. But then that's done now. But yeah, then I'm going to start work on these now. So with some help, all of the old labels were removed and the new labels are now applied and stuff like that. And then for the most part, what it is if it requires one full column or more, it gets its own. But then other than that, it just stays in the other category just so that it can be sorted alphabetically, which will help a lot more going down the road and stuff like that. And then I still have to sort all of this stuff now. So, I mean, I could do it the logical way and the simple way of just simply adding in the cards where needed and stuff like that. But I really want to do it the fun way where I kind of just throw every single card, and there's about 1,000 of them, into this container and then just sort them all again later. I mean, I'm probably going to regret this quite bad in like half hour or so, but it just seems like a fun way, and I'm just going to do it because why not? It seems like fun right now, even though I know it probably won't be in a little while. So I'll get started on just putting everything onto the side, except for maybe the Star Wars, because that's the first one I'm going to start with, and then just put on all the cards in as needed. And I mean, I guess I don't really need to swap any of these ones here either, because they're already basically just sorted. Nothing, I didn't change anything for superheroes because I don't really know anything about that, but then these ones here will have to be removed and stuff. But then I'll leave this row, this row, this row, and this row, but then everything else from all the other boxes will just go in here. So this is what it looks like now. The superheroes in Harry Potter are where they are because they didn't really need anything done. All of the Star Wars are here now, and then they will be probably sorted as one of the first ones or so, but then everything else is just empty now, and then all of them are in the container over here now. And so now they will be sorted slowly into these containers here. Have all of the cards over here now that can be put where needed. So I'll get an alphabeticizer or whatever it's called up, and then be able to sort it alphabetically and for all of the other ones, and then go from there. So all of the stuff has been put into the containers right now. Most likely we'll move this stuff over a bit to create room. What is this one here? There's a random Lego movie one here. But then we'll probably move stuff over just so there's a bit more room in these columns. But just wanted to get it put away right now because it's already super late. So tomorrow I'm going to work on putting these a little bit more into those columns there just so that there's a bit of room. But then there's also all of these Star Wars ones, which I'm wondering if they'll even fit in these two here. But I've got the Star Wars cards here. Then I've got the Ninjago cards here for that stuff. And then this is all the Ninjago now. So then tomorrow that will be the goal, to finish working on some of this. And might need to get more boxes sooner than later. Yogurt time. So just finished with the subsort, or well, the better sorting of all of the categories here. So now instead of them just being filled as much as they can to the end, the rows are somewhat empty at the end and stuff like that, and there's a lot more room, but all of the rows are filled, so there's a lot more expansion for each of the individual categories now. Then the series one got its own category, although I didn't name it as its own. It just has its card like all the others, but that one's almost a full one. It could take a little category at the end of the front if needed, but that's pretty good there. So now I can move on to sorting all of the Ninjago ones. This here's all the Ninjago. I honestly have no idea if those are even going to fit into these two columns here, but we will see. And then after that is the Star Wars. So just finished now with the Star Wars and the Ninjago. The Ninjago looks a lot nicer than the Star Wars, but it's because the Star Wars just has so much more in it. But it is still subsorted at least just a little bit, if not too much. So that stuff's all done now. So I'm finally finished with this for the moment with all three containers with the new sorting method. So I think that what I'm going to do next is what I saw, I think it was Pop's Block Shop do the one time, with basically he deleted his entire wanted list, and then he went through and just found everything he needed again and added it back to the wanted list. So I'm going to do that, but slightly differently, because I have a lot of minifigures on here from, well, this isn't a good example. Let me see if I can find a good example. Let's just go with this one, I guess, because I've got a lot of minifigures in from here that I need the minifigure for. So then there's like this one here, which, I mean, I might have some parts for him now because I've got an Obi-Wan Kenobi drawer and stuff like that. But then I have just the complete minifigure on the wanted list, but typically those are priced higher than I'd be willing to pay for them. So then I'm going to see if I can piece together every part that I can and then just add the base parts to the wanted list instead of the complete minifigure and stuff like that. And so I just go ahead and I'll just double check the wanted list, make sure there's nothing on there. And I mean, I'm going to be losing a few things from the wanted list that were like eBay lots and stuff like that. But honestly, I'm probably not going to pursue listing individual parts on eBay in the future. It's just not really worth it. And so then I'm going to go and delete the entire wanted list, or maybe first try and download a copy just as a backup. I think I can do that, probably with Brickstore at least, and then go ahead and just delete everything and start fresh, and then place a few orders and try to just get a whole bunch of this stuff rebuilt. Finally finished with re-adding everything that was needed back to the wanted list. Was able to rebuild one here, plus one of the droids. I just relisted this guy separately because he sold after I started this. And then there's a few in here that I was able to get again, and they're gonna have to be listed because they've been so long since they were listed last. Then this here is the leftovers of the drawer that was over here filled with random parts that I ordered and I have no idea where they went to. Some of them still have no idea where they go to, but they're here now. But now I'm going to be putting them into drawers for in case I need them later and stuff like that. So let's see what the grand total is of what the number of items is on the wanted list, and it is 596. So it's up 96 from before, which is what I was expecting because I'm adding more lots because of, instead of just complete minifigures, it's mostly just their parts now. And so that's good. And then Just going to rebuild these ones here that sold with the shipping day that I shipped out earlier today. I was already able to rebuild him, and one or two of the others I already put back in here, which I guess did affect that count a little bit. I'm gonna work on these guys, but then I'm finally done. So this is the end of the vlog. Thank you for watching if you got this far. Today is Saturday, so I honestly have no idea what I'm going to be working on today, but it'll probably be something over there. Yeah, today's Saturday, so the next vlog should be out on Wednesday. Thank you for watching. If you got this far, I should probably eat breakfast.